Okay. Jack, I'm really happy you brought up the power dynamic piece because this entire thing revolves around power dynamics. The fact of the matter is, with the allegation and the things that were said, it was about losing their job, losing their clout, losing the ability to actually be a professional streamer because of the way that these dynamics work. And it's very, very clear that with the things that have been being, because I've been watching Maddie's chat too, and the things that were said by Destiny on Dylan's stream, it is clear that people don't understand the power dynamics. You don't ask an employee and it's continually harass them in a way when you have the ability to have economic power over them. You don't do it. Like it's more than just like, oh, I'm going to ask somebody out on a date or all of that type of stuff. I'm going to ask politely. No, you can't. That's a power dynamic failure, and that is harassment, and that is the biggest issue that I think that people aren't seeing. The fact that men are going out and trying to victim blame an employee of someone who was harassing them with constant just constant sexual unwanted sexual advances, and that was not stopped. And the fact that that Katarana, and I'm going to say it, she said no, and all the people who saying that they didn't is out of their mind and are just completely failing to see the facts of the matter here. And it doesn't have to be about how it was said, when it was said, long time, short time, all of it doesn't matter. She was an employee. She was in a position of less power. She had all these things on the line. And this is what the Me Too movement was about in a lot of ways, about people in power abusing the people who depended on their careers. That's why a lot of it had to do with celebrities and political folks, because celebrities and political folks hold the power so heavily that they can literally destroy somebody's lives. And that is a very stark reality, because I'm a Me Too survivor in a political situation where I have been told that, why didn't you just stop? Why didn't you just quit? Why did you put yourself through that? Why did you allow that to happen when it got to that point? Why did it take you 3 years to say anything? Like, all of those things are always leveled against the people who have no power. Instead of saying, hey, why don't you understand power dynamics? Why don't you understand that it's not appropriate to hit on your employees? And that's really where a lot of this is stemming from. And you know, because we can get into nuances of, you know, how somebody hits on somebody else and all of that stuff, but in this particular situation, it is cut and dry, because the fact of the matter is, the person depended on an income and a career to start. And when we go back into the idea that this is a young person, and this is a 30-something-year-old person, is exactly what this is, because it's young people who are the ones that are victimized in these positions, because somebody who is in their 30s, 40s, 60s, you know, they're the ones that know how much it matters to a young person to start their career, and they use that as leverage, and that is predatory behavior. Because I've been on the fence about saying, okay, how am I gonna frame this? How am I gonna frame this? It's predatory behavior when you're hitting on an employee that you hired when you only have one. It's predatory behavior, especially when you're hiring somebody like that. And so anybody who's defending this, including Destiny, should be completely afraid of the mob that is going to come after their heads, because this is not okay in any situation. You don't hit on employees. It's clear. There shouldn't be a debate about this when it comes to who was in the wrong here. So sorry, I got a little spicy at your chat too, Maddie. So.
Oh, I see that. No, but like I think that's like, whenever I see Destiny get so amped about this particular situation, right, where he's like, whenever anyone mentioned something like grooming or power dynamics, that sets him off. And to me, that is the biggest fucking red flag that you could have. Because I'm like, why is this specifically setting him off? I bet it's because he's trying to reverse engineer his logical way back to absolve himself of any responsibility, because I'm guessing that he's had this sort of thing. I don't know. I
don't think that's responsible.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's, I would not say that about, okay, so sorry, I'm going to disagree because I understand where he's coming from. I understand what he's saying when he says these things in the dating sphere are not clear, especially when it comes to the type of pressure that's put on a woman to not say anything. And it's not fair. It's not fair at all. I am 100% with that. Women are put in a secondary status. But there is this pressure in our society, and even if you look at even more traditional societies, they put that pressure even harder on women to not speak up, to not make the first move, whether to be quiet, right? And so so I get what he's saying. Women are taught and they're pressured to be quiet, and whereas men are put into this position where they're pressured to make these moves and like, oh, well, she could be playing hard to get, and the moment guys, the moment that we start viewing people who do these things as not people who could be around you, who could not be your friends and your family, that's when it's dangerous, because this could be somebody that somebody that you respect. And so you have to actually think about this from a very nuanced view. These people have, for whatever reason, I'm not saying it's acceptable that they don't know about the power dynamic, but it is the reality that they don't know about the power dynamic. And it could be your uncle, it could be your dad. You really don't know. And the moment that you make it this other person, like this, oh, they should know, and all of that. There are tons of people who just, we need to educate them. I'm not saying they're victims. They you should never treat anybody like they're, secondary, in my opinion. In my perfect world, this wouldn't be a thing, but the reality, we live in reality. And what reality is that predators are everywhere. They are not going to be easy to spot, and they are going to be one day somebody So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jane is next, followed by City Cat, and then we have Saren. And
am I fitting in there anytime soon?
Oh, are you raising your hand?
I think Kino's after me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was City Cat. Okay, then I'll go Kino, City Cat.
And I'll say this, and I'll just join the audience, and thank you again for letting me say this, because this was something that came up for me when I was watching this situation in another incarnation of it. I want to piggyback off of what Josie said, professional standards. This is a new platform. This is a new idea. But any industry that has decades under its belt has to come to grips with it. At first I was looking at maybe talking to SAG-AFTRA. I ended up doing that, but it didn't really pan out to anything big. But to get advice for how do you deal with this as a growing platform, because I come from a dance background, and we have unions, and we have representation, and we have codes of conduct that are never going to be trespassed. So to talk about people's relationships is irrelevant. This is a profession. If people want to take it as a more casual thing, you have to figure out how to negotiate those boundaries. There's such thing as more casual engagement in the arts as well, but we have codes of conduct. And just because this is a new platform shouldn't mean that it's a hunting ground for predators. And yes, there will always be predators there, but they'll get more sophisticated, and then we'll have to be more, aggressive about it for those of us who want to be in the profession. I want to be a professional streamer, and I ended up having to move away from this entirely to feel like I had a future that was worth, respecting, because it didn't look like this was something that was safe. And I'd love to see it be safe in the future. So I just want to encourage everybody here that's taking this seriously to keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much.
You. All right, Kino, you are up.
Thank you.
I actually have a contention with what was just said. I am a brand developer / a dream coach. And a lot of people come to this platform and they do not treat it like a professional job, and putting professional into streamers' mouths I don't think is fair at all. If you want to treat it as a professional platform, if you want to grow, and if you want to monetize it, that's completely up to you. But I don't think that it is responsible to hold everybody to a professional standard, especially because that's abstract. I have no idea what that means. And that's, you know, that's another fucking debate. But I'm annoyed right now. And I think it's because, you know, I came on here and I voiced what I wanted. And I know that like my wants are not the same as everybody else's wants, obviously. I see plenty of value in venting. There is a lot of venting and a lot of fucking anger that does need to come out. And that is perfectly valid. All of you who are sharing your stories, thank you for being brave to come out with it. But my annoyance is that this is all stuff that we've talked about. This is all stuff that everybody on this panel knows, and probably most of the people in chat. And I feel like a lot of these panels have become, I'm not going to say that, they become cyclical, and we're not making any progress unless it's like personal. Again, like there is plenty of value in inventing, but as far as like actually making progress on what the fuck is next, I don't think it's a group of females only and femme presenting people where we can like report people. I don't think it's that. I don't really know what the answer is. I'm tired of wasting everybody's time. I'm tired of this happening, and I want to see some solutions. And literally the only one that I have to offer is that anybody can contact me at any time with, I mean, really anything. And not like really anything. That's so not specific. I'm sorry. With any like community-based things, any like professional constraint that you have. And if it has to do with legitimate harassment, if it has to, not legitimate, I'm sorry, my language is not okay right now. If it has to do with harassment, if it has to do with something wherein your power is taken away or monetary value is taken away, if somebody is harassing you, you are more than free to contact me. If anybody saw what happened with Redneck, I know my way around the law, and I will make sure that you get vindication for what happened. Other than that, I don't know what to do for this platform. And I thought that I'd just make space for Amanda, because I don't know what to add.
Oh, no, I brought her in, and she left right back out. So, okay, I'll bring her back.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I agree. It sounds like you are pushing for us to have a more like solutions-oriented conversation where maybe we're talking about, because we can talk and wax poetic about all the like negative experiences that we've had, but perhaps it would be a more constructive use of time to think about, okay, well, given all of this information, what now? What
yeah, I mean, I hesitate to frame it that way because, again, like what people are sharing is valid, and there is so much utility in sharing and airing your anger. But yeah, I'm fucking tired, and I know that most of us are here too, and I don't necessarily want to steer the conversation, but that's what I'm interested in. And if we don't have that right now, I don't know. I'm having, I can't really hold space for this right now because this sucks. This really sucks. I'm tired.
I hear you. And yeah, no, and I, again, like, think like this, I know people say this a lot, but this is a safe space. And I want people to, like, if they're like, hey, the conversation isn't really headed where where my brain is situated in thinking about this right now, that's perfectly valid. But I just want to quickly go to the people who are waiting to talk. And then I think I would like to maybe touch on a little bit of that rather than airing grievances, but maybe thinking a bit more in terms of like, as women involved in this space, what else maybe can we do or challenge male streamers to do in order to fix this or address it or at least improve it?
Do you mind if I bow out real quick and I'll come back? I have a conversation to have. Is that okay? Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, we're going to go City Cat, Saren, and then Riverboat Jack.